friendly beaders, how are we? Are we all okay? So moving on then, the last video I showed you how to make the wrap bracelets and the necklace for the Jubilee. Remember these? Yay, you remember those? Ought to put one on really, hadn't I, while I was showing you the video, but hi. Moving on. Onto the rings. So this one you can see is made with delica beads using the red, white and blue theme again, with 2 crystals, 1 red, 1 white and a pearl on top to give it some decoration. If you just wanted to have it as a band, you could just do it as a band if you didn't want to put the beads on top. It was quite nice as a band. And if you wanted to decorate it, you can do the red, white and blue beads on top to give it a bit of height and a bit more interest. And this is using the square stitch. And then we have these beads with a red, white and blue band using right angle weave. Just filling in the gaps with our red, white and blue. Again, you could just leave it as a band or decorate the top. And again, this one, red, white and blue beads with a nice decoration on the top. But again, you could just leave it as a band if you wanted to. So what we're going to start off with then is one of these rings, because it's the quickest. So let's have a look at the products you will need. You will need 11 OC beads in obviously the red, white and blue theme. You will need some fire line. If you haven't got fire line, please use whatever thread that you've got. Just if I'm making rings like this, I like to use fire line to give it a bit of strength. But if you don't have fire line, you can use 1G thread or Superlon thread, whatever you've got. I just like using this. The crystal blends in nicely with my beads. You will need a size 10 beading needle. And you will need a pair of scissors to cut your thread. I've got these little stalk. So get your bits and bobs together and we'll get started in a second with some beading. Oh yes, if you're making the decoration on the top, you will need, for each ring, you will need 1 bead of each colour. And that's your lot. Thread length wise, you'll be needing about an arm span. When I say an arm span, that's reaching your hands out from one side of your body across to the other and measuring it off. Nice, when you're cutting your thread, if you're using fire line, make it nice and taut and cut it off. And a little tip for you for threading your needle is getting a pair of pliers and just squashing the end of your fire line. This also works with beading thread as well. Just squashing the edge, giving you a nice flat surface, and you should find that your needle gets threaded quite easily. She says. That's gone on now, and that's how I thread my fire line onto my needle pretty easily. Okay guys, so get your bits and bobs together and we'll be right back. Right then, are we ready? You got your needle threaded and your beads out. So I've just put out then my white beads because we're going to be making the core bit first in right angle weave. So how we start off then is by picking up 4 beads 4 of our 11 seed beads, bringing them down, leaving a small tail. We just want enough that we can knot off and thread through, coming through from our tail end back through all our beads to form a loop. And I'm just going to come through all these beads again. Just put lotion on my hands so my hands are all over the place. And then going back through, I want our tail thread to be coming out of one side. I'm just going to come round the next 2 beads so we've got our tail end exiting one side and our working thread exiting the other side of our 4 little beads. Okay, so we've got 4 beads on to begin with. Now to continue with our right angle weave, we're just going to be picking up 3 beads. Our tail end is coming out to this side and we're just going to come round in a circle, and we have our next unit on. Now I like to go through all the beads again, and that gives us a nice solid base for our ring. Just coming through all the beads again, and by going through them one at a time, it keeps our shape nice and gives us a nice solid base for our ring. So I'm going to come through the next 2 beads so that we exit the top bead of our second unit. Moving on then, picking up 3 beads. Our tail end is exiting through the top. We're just going to come round in a loop. I'm just going to flip my work over because I like to work away from me, and come through that unit, all them beads in that unit again. Making sure our beads lie as we want them to, and then just going through the next 2 beads so we exit the top bead of our unit. And I'm going to continue then now, picking up 3 beads, again coming around in a loop, flipping my work over, pulling my thread nice and tight, keeping my tension good, going around all the beads again, going through the next 2 beads So I exit the top of our unit. Three beads, coming round in a circle, turning my work over and going through our beads again. This just gives us a really good base and keeps everything nice in the shape that we want it to be in. Ooh, dropping them because I've got lotion on my hands. Coming through the last bead in that unit, and we're just going to keep on going, picking up our three beads, coming round in a loop, flipping my work over in my hand, going through, keeping my tension nice, going through all the beads, and going through the next two beads and coming out the top. And we're just going to carry on this like this until we reach our desired length. Flipping over, going through the beads all over again, coming through side bead and the top bead till we've nicely secured our unit. So keep on going. I'm going to pause you and keep on going, and you can stop every now and again, decide which finger you'd like your ring band to fit on and go all the way around, and we'll be back when we're nearer the time. Okay guys, so keep on going. Making sure that we make that unit nice and secure by going through all those beads again. I think it's well worth it. Some people don't bother, but I think it's well worth it going through the unit again. It keeps our shape nice. And doesn't take a lot more time either. Still a nice, quick, easy make. Flipping it over in our hands. So in the video, the video before, when I made the chain, at the end of that video I went to sit and make my next video, and my camera wouldn't work. I just couldn't believe it. So, and anyway, I left it off for a while. The other half had a look at it for me, and he thought, right, it's got to be something to do with the memory card. So we bought a new memory card, which I've got in at the moment, tried it, and the camera started working again. So don't know what's going on. I think because that's the second memory card that I've had to have to go in there, so I don't know what's going on with it. It'll work one minute and then won't work the next. So anyway, while it's working we will make jewellery, but I think I will have to start saving to buy another camera. And if you remember in the last video where I made the bracelet and the other earrings, I was telling you about my partner's van broken down, and anyway, I've just had a update before I started this video, and it looks like the engine is kaput. So, and it's at the garage, but they can't look at it properly for a couple of weeks. So, and looks like we're going to be battling with the depths of the deep blue sea to decide whether we throw more money at it to try and get it fixed, or we just say, right, okay, because a new engine and time, you know, a new engine and labour, we're going to be looking at about £5,000. Just at the right time, isn't it, you know? But or look for a second-hand van and hope that there's nothing wrong with it. That's the trouble, isn't it, when you're buying second-hand? I mean, you certainly can't afford to buy new. When you're buying second-hand vehicles, it's whether the owners are being honest and, you know, saying that it's okay. So that's the next scenario in for us. But there's worse things out there that are happening, so keep smiling. Who knows, the Sunday when I go digging, I might find a hoard of gold coins. Yeah. Oh dear. And even if you did find a hoard of gold coins, you're not going to get your money straight off. It has to go through the process, the Treasure Act process, so got a hair on there. So it wouldn't help me in any way. Not that the likes of me is going to find a hoard of gold coins, but still. I'll have to start playing the lottery. And you could be years playing that and never win. Oh dear. You have to laugh, don't you? Because if you don't, you'll end up crying. And we don't do that, do we? No. So let's have a little look-see then. A few more units. A few more units of our base before we start filling in our gaps, going all the way around. Have to keep smiling, guys, don't we? Just have to keep smiling and hope for the best. Oh, I feel as if I'm all doom and gloom. I can't be having this. I can't be having all doom and gloom. We need to cheer ourselves up. Or should I say, I need to cheer up. Oh dear. I'm normally always really happy and cheerful, happy-go-lucky. Lose the cells in beading for a bit, eh? Lose the cells. So we just need to keep on growing our band. And if you were making these to sell, you'd have to do lots of different sort of sizes, just so that the likelihood of somebody picking up a ring, one of them, would end up fitting them. This is a nice project to sit and do in front of the TV as well, because you know, of an evening, if you're watching a bit of TV and or just listening to it, having something on in the background while you sat and did some beading, because you don't really need too much to think about. Let's have a look. Another couple of units and we'll be ready. And you always, when you're doing a ring, if you're just doing a band, it won't really matter. But if you're doing one with some decoration on the top, it does cinch it a little bit more, so you need to make it a little bit bigger than what you think. But we'll come to that in a second, not far off now. Not far off finished, the little bandy bit. And then we get ready to add on our red and our blue. Nice, quick, easy projects. One more unit, and I think that will be enough. I'll just do a double check in a second. Just turning it over, coming through on my beads again, just to make our base lovely and tight and a nice good tension on it. Makes it so much easier to work with, and it'll give you a truer size banding as well. Okay, let's have a little look-see. Yep, so can you see it's just overlapping a little bit? So that's okay, because once we've got our other beads in, it will cinch it in a little bit. So to join then these two ends, we need to pick up a bead, bring it round to meet the other side so we can see which way we're going. So we're exiting on this side. Here's our bead. We need to come through the other side of our band, and we've got one side connected. Just turn the beadwork around in our fingers, pick up another bead. We're exiting over here, and we need to come through on the other side. And just to secure it up, I'm going to go through those beads again, the one we just added on the side there, through the top, through the side, through the bottom. Give it a nice pull. Tail end out the way. Where are you? So we're exiting out of a middle bead. We need to come over into the side bead. And now we're ready to add our first of our side beads. So I'm just going to pop that down a second. I'm going to put my middle beads away. I'm just going to get out some red beads. Now you really don't need many at all. That's going to be more than enough. So we're exiting out of one of our side beads now. Simple thing we're going to do is through every side bead we're just going to add our red bead. Oh, I had my eyes tested. Well, we both did have my eyes tested. Tuesday I think it was of last, no, Thursday, do you beg your pardon, Thursday of last week. And yeah, I've had to have some new glasses. Can't pick them up for 4 weeks though. So hopefully my eyes have altered a little bit, not too bad. Yeah, new glasses. I don't need glasses for distance, it's just close-up work, so reading and my beadwork. So we're just filling in the gaps then, guys. Putting a little red bead in between our side beads. And you can see that as you pull your bead through, it cinches it up a little bit. Yeah, so I had a little scan done first at the opticians, and that was all a-okay, absolutely fine. My eyes health is good, so that's something positive. And then when I had to choose my frames for my new glasses, I just chose the cheapest ones. Nobody's going to see me in anyway. And they're quite stylish actually. For £29 I was really quite impressed. Last one going in here, guys. So I'm just going to go through there and then through a couple of beads. I want to come out of a centre bead of a white bead, and then I need to make my way over to the other side. So I'm just going to, my thread is exiting this side bead, so I'm just going to come through into the centre, through the centre bead. Oop, got it attached to my hand. And then out of a side bead. Get my blue beads out. You don't need many, just a few. And we're just going to go ahead and fill in this side now with blue beads. So once I've finished this, I need to get ready. So obviously now Paul's not got his van, I'm going to have to go and fetch him from work. It's about 3/4 of an hour to go fetch him. So we do this one ring, and then go and fetch his lordship. And then finish off the other rings. And we're nearly all the way around again now, guys. And just come through a few beads. And there you have your band. So now what we're going to do then is add some decoration on the top. And this is where it cinches it in a little bit. I think we'll do this one first. So we want a few blue beads, and we'll want 2 white beads and then 4 red beads after, because this is what we're going to do. Okay, so we need to be coming out of a centre bead. So coming out of a blue, so I'm just going to go through the next white on the side, and then through the centre white bead. Picking up 2 blue, a pearl, 1 white, your white crystal, another white, your red crystal or your red bead, and 2 seed beads. Taking them down then to your work, hang on a second, let me get myself in position. Taking them down to your ring, is you then need to find out the best place to put the top on. My hands are so slippy with let's try and wipe some off. excuse me, with lotion. It's not stuck to my hands properly, so my beads are slipping everywhere. So it's that one there. So if I can count it for you, we're coming out of that one there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think. Let me just double check that. Sticking up too much. That one there. Let me just put my needle in it and then I'll count it. So our thread is coming out of that one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So from where your thread is exiting, don't count that one, count the next. So from there, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Making sure that we're going through the same side. So we're exiting the top, we need our needle to come down through the top of our 7th bead away. Okay, picking up 2 red seed beads, coming all the way back through our red, white, blue, exiting the blue pearl or your blue bead, pulling our thread nice and tight, picking up 2 seed beads and going back through that centre bead and pull on our thread through, turning our beadwork in our hand to make it comfortable to work with, pulling our thread nice and tight, and I'm just going to go through there again. So where our thread is exiting out to the centre white bead, I'm just going to come back through as many of those beads as I can, giving it a nice little pull through the 2 side red beads, coming through the centre white bead, and back up the other side through the centre beads, back down our 2 blue beads, back through the centre bead, and now we need to get on to the side. So we've out of the centre bead, we're going to go into the side bead, find out where our tail end is exiting. It's on the other side, that's okay, we'll go and catch that as we run around that side, and then we're just going to go through our side beads again, making sure that we don't miss any of those beads out, guys, making sure that we get them all. to the top. Now I need to go through the side bead. Oh, I've gone through one too many. So come back out of that red bead if you two have done that. I want to go through the middle, turn my work over my hand, following our thread path to the side and then going through the other side. Making sure that we run our needle through all the beads. We don't want to be skipping any of those beads out. And I want to come around to this tail. Where are you, tail? There. Just going to pop you up there a second so I can see you. Exiting right by our tail end, bringing the tail end and our working thread together. I'm just going to do a couple of knots. I'm running my thread past those knots, and you'll feel it just pull in a little bit. Cutting my thread off. I'm going to take my thread out of there. Squash my end of this one. I can't see the end. I can't see the end, guys. Can you see it? I've squashed it and it's gone all like translucent. My tongue's out. There you are. Right. Right. I'm just going to take this thread, my tail thread, through just a few beads. That'll do. I mean, you can use the thread up if you want to. And just cut my end off. And there you have your first ring. Lovely jubbly. Loving it. So to make the next one then, again, you need to make the band. So I'm going to pause you here. You know how to make the band. Let's make the band and then we'll come back and join each other again and just put this little twist on the top. Okay, so I'll catch you in a mojo. So have you made your second band then? Okie dokie then. So we're ready to put our decoration on the top. So we're coming out of the side bead then. We're going to pick up 2 red seed beads, the crystal red, and another 2 red seed beads. So if you look at this one that we're making today, the replica we're making today. Let me just drop those beads down. So our thread now will be coming out of this red bead. If you look directly across at the blue bead, then we need to count up 1, 2, 3, 4 beads. Or is that right? Hang on 1 second. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beads. I do beg your pardon. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Over into the white. Pick up 2 white beads, a white crystal, and 2 white beads. And we're going to come over now, if you look at this one, we're going to come over to the next red bead. So coming over into the next red bead, and I'm going to go through the red and the white bead next to it. Pull our needle through. We just want to tighten them other beads up, so give them a little pull. And I'm going to go back through the red ones now, so back through the red, down through the red into the white, up the 2 white beads, into the white crystal on top, down the 2 white beads, turning our work on the side, and I'm going to come through to the white bead and the red bead on the side. Pick up 2 of our blue beads, our pearl or whatever you're using, where's my other blue one? It's stuck on me doodah. On me doodah. Coming over then, if you remember the count from this side, coming through the blue bead. Pull our work through. Positioning them beads on top. Now I want to get back and go through that blue bead again. So I'm going to come through the white bead, which is a white centre bead, going through the actual centre, up through the white, turning our work over to the side, coming through the white bead, before the red, for where we attached our blue. Coming up through the 2 seed beads and the centre bead if you can get it all in one go. If not, just go with the flow. Turning our work as we need, and then coming through some of the side beads. Where's our tail? Over there. Right, okay, so we're going to come all around these beads again. Going through as many or as few as you manage to get your needle through. Making sure that we don't miss any of the beads out. I'm getting my needle stuck. If your needle won't go through, it's handy to have a pair of pliers just to push and then pull. I'm aiming to get to that bead there, so I need to go up a few more. Coming out of because we've gone through the side a couple of times, the beads get a bit full of, oh it don't matter, I'll go through that one and then come back down. Gets full of thread. So my tail thread is over here on the on the left hand side of me. So I need to go through the white bead, and just the white bead, because I need to go round in a circle following our first thread path when we made the base, through the centre, turning our work as we need, and through the white. Our two threads are together, our tail and our working thread. I'm just going to tie a couple of overhand knots. Now I'm going to pass my needle through. Oh wow, it's going up that way, so just go with the flow. If yours goes through the same, then you carry on and just go with the flow. You can't go wrong really. Just going to come through there and cut my tail off. Pulling the tail, the thread nice and tight, giving it a little clip off. Now this is where the fun bit is, because I need to thread my tail now. So I have put lotion on my hands, and it's whether I can thread the needle. You will go through the eye of the needle. You will. Have I done it? No. Go through the eye of the needle. I haven't done it again. I can't see it, that's my trouble. Got my tongue out. Shh. Concentration. There, I've got it. Don't lose the end now, Jane. There we are. So just going through some beads now on the side with my tail thread. As many as you like. And cutting our thread off, pulling your thread nice and tight, and off it goes. And there we have our second ring. Lovely! I think I might have made this one a bit big. Let's have a look. I think this will fit on me. It'll fit on my thumb. Oh well. So there we go. So that's them rings done then, guys. So the next ring we're going to make is this one that's on my finger. So I'm just going to swap over and put that one on. I like these rings. Really comfortable to wear as well. You don't even know you've got them on. So that's our first ring we made. And that's our second ring we've just made. Excuse me. So the third ring I've made with delicate beads. If you don't have any delicate beads, then go ahead and use your 11/0 round beads. These are 11/0 delicas in red, white and blue. As you can see, you don't have to make it in red, white and blue. You can make it in whatever colour you like. But this is the ring that we're going to be making next, and this is in square stitch. So for this project you will need some 11/0 delicas in red, white and blue. Okay, and again you'll be needing 4 extra delicas to attach our embellishment in the 3 different colours. So 4 blue, 4 white and 4 red, and then your beads to go on top. Or if you're making something a bit different in different colours in whatever beads that you like, or you may just like to have it in a band. Won't fit on that finger. You may just like to have it in a band, and the band looks pretty cool actually. You don't have to add the embellishments if you don't want to. And again you'll be needing crystal fireline, or I have used actually the black fireline on this, but I think I'm going to use the crystal fireline this time. A size 10 beading needle and a pair of scissors. So get your bits and bobs together and we'll be right back. Right guys, have you got all your bits and bobs together? One thing I did forget to tell you is you will need a little stopper bead for starting off doing square stitch, and your thread length needs to be about an arm span and a half, because it is quite a thread heavy pattern is square stitch. So first thing we're going to do then is we're going to put, you can even borrow for while you're starting if you haven't got a separate bead, one of your decoration beads for off the top. So I'm just going to use this one. I'm just going to bring it down my thread, just leaving a little tail, and then just going through it again. So that'll hold nice and tight. If you haven't got an extra bead, or you have a spring, then you can use a spring, whatever you've got. Okay then, so to start our pattern we're just going to put on 2 red, 2 white, 2 blue on our needle. Drop these down to our stopper bead. Coming back then, square stitch, 1 blue bead, and our tail is exiting out to the bottom. And we're just going to catch that first little bead. So with our tail coming out to the bottom, just coming round in a little loop, she says, catching that first bead and pulling our thread through, and that will bring our first bead next to each other. So from the bottom end then we just need to come through that second bead that we've just added, putting our thumb and finger over the top because that keeps everything nice and stable, and pulling our thread through, picking up another blue bead then, catching the second bead, pulling it up. Now we can see now that our thread is over on the left hand side, and we want that thread to come out on the right hand side through the bead that we've just added. So taking our needle, going back through that second bead, and when we pull, that fixes them beads together. So the next colour then is our white. Let's run through this again. White bead, coming from the top and through that white bead, and that brings it next to the first white bead, taking our thread across and coming back through, facing up through the white bead we've just added. And that's all there is to it. Picking up another white bead, coming down through from our tail end through the next white bead, grabbing hold of everything on your desk. I really need to clear it off. Taking our thread across and going back up through the white bead that we've just added. Picking up a red bead then now, coming down from the tail end through the red bead that's on our tail, taking our thread across and coming up through that same bead that we've just added. Next bead then, final red, giving our work a little bit of a pull. Ooh, dropping it always essential. Coming through the last red bead then, and then back up. To finish off the square stitch, I'm only going to do this on the first row. I'm just going to come back up through all those beads, turning my work as I go, and then back down the other side. Now at this stage you can take the bead off. That's our first two rows done. So second row then, exactly the same, pick up a bead and we want to attach it to our second row. Oh my word, I really need to clean off my table. up through that bead we've just added. Second bead, going through. Back up. Onto the white. The white. Pick up another white. Down on the side white. Taking our thread across. Going back up the bead we've just added. I like to put my thumb and finger over the top because it steadies my beadwork. And you can feel when you've got your thumb and finger over the top, when you give it a pull, you can feel all the beads going into place. Blue. And the last blue of this row. Then if you want to, you can go all the way down the beads, making sure you don't leave any out. Getting a knot in your fire line. At the bottom, then come through the row that you've just added. That is the proper square stitch. Turning your work over then. I'll show you again. One bead, attaching it to our last row. Going back up through the bead we just added. Picking up another bead. Going through the next in the row of our last row. This is a really strong stitch. A really strong stitch is the square stitch, but it is quite thread heavy. And it's called a square stitch because we're going round in squares. No other reason. it's just a matter of continuing until you've got the right amount of rows needed for the project that you're making. And for us, the project is a ring band. Now I am going to show you another way that I do it as well, that to me eliminates the need to go back down these beads of the last row. I'm just turning my work over. And then back up again. I will show you a way that I do it. Okay, so that's proper traditional square stitch. Now I just come up with this by accident, and this is what I do. I add 2, come down 2, and to me this eliminates the need to go up and down at the end, but see what you think. So this is my way now. Come down 2, go up the 2, pick up your next colour, which is white, go down 2 on your last row, bring your thread across and go up 2. Your next one, down 2, up 2. I suppose it's a bit like herringbone. Down 2, up 2, try not to get your thread trapped, down 2, up 2, down 1, and up 1. Now to me that's strong, and I don't have to come all the way down and come all the way up again. Does that make sense? But it's entirely up to you. I'll show you again how I do it. It's entirely up to you. You can do the traditional way like I've just shown you, adding 1 bead at a time and going through single beads and then back up and down, or you can try it this way. So starting with the blue then this time, this is my way, coming down 2, so I've put 2 on my needle, going up 2, and there's still, each bead is still being linked together. Picking up a bead, coming down 2, going up 2, going down 2, going up 2, makes it a bit easier as well than going down 1, going down 2, going up 2, 2, going up 2, going down 1, and that just attaches the last one, going up 1 singly. You'll see as you do it. So it's up to you guys which way you want to go, either the traditional way of adding each bead singly then going up and down the rows, or my way of adding 2 at the beginning and then, you know, going down 2 and up 2, down 2 and up 2. So adding 2, going down 2, going up 2, adding 1, going down 2, going up 2, adding 1, going down 2, going up 2, and then on your last row adding the last one, coming down 2, going up, and then coming down the 1. So I will leave it up to you. All you need to do is exactly the same as we did on the other rings, is make your band, and because it's already so tight it's not going to cinch up anymore. The actual ring band that you get, that you make to fit your finger, will fit your finger, but make it a little bit looser because you need to get over your fleshy parts, otherwise you're rubbing it on. And you put a bit of hand cream on this and slide on and off then. And then, so you carry on then guys, and then we'll meet back to do with the embellishments. See you in a mo. Are you there? Are you at the end of your band? It does take a little while, doesn't it? So I'm going to make mine to fit my little finger. I think it'll be quite cute. Or it might fit my neighbour's middle finger, but we'll see. Anyway, right, last row then guys. So how to bring it together is exactly the same as what we've been doing. So my thread's exiting that side. I'm just going to wrap my ring band round and bring it through 2 beads. Take my thread over and come down the 2 beads on the opposite side and pull. Seamless. Go up 3 beads, go across into the first white one and the first blue one. Turn your work around if it helps. Pull my thread. Turning my work again, it just helps. Going through the blue and 2 whites, making sure that you don't skip any beads out. Going over to the top white, coming down to the bottom white, so in other words going through 2 whites. Going up the 2 whites and a red. On the other side going down a red and a white. Making sure your thread doesn't get caught. Up the white and coming out to the top of the 2 reds. down 2 reds, bringing our thread across, going up both reds again, coming across to the other red, just going down the one bead and then coming up through the red. Right, I'm going to get rid of this tail now, so I'm going to just tie a couple of overhand knots, bringing it down nice and tight. And then going down all those beads and coming out the other end. Pulling that through, and the tail end went through a little bit. Pull, cut off. That's got rid of our tail. Right, now we're going to add on our decoration. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do then is we're going to pick up 2 red little delicate beads, your decoration bead, and 2 delicas, and we're just going to come round in a loop so you can see where our thread is Xing one side. We're just going to come through all those beads again, being careful now that we don't break any of those delicate beads. Just going to turn my work around. There we are. And just to reinforce them, go through all those beads again. If it feels a bit loose, just hold your beads and pull your thread. And again, going through all those beads again, being very careful, because if you're using delicas, we don't want them to break. Okay, so now we need to come down the next beads in the row. And then the next beads in the row. We're going to pick up 2 white or crystal or whatever white bead you're using. Drop them beads down. Again, going round in a circle. Finding the opposite of our blue or our red, whichever way you're working. Through those beads again. Holding the beads, giving it a wiggle and pulling our thread back through those beads, being careful not to break them if you're using delicates. Coming down the next row to it, to where we've just come out. making sure that we go through all the beads. And the next row. And we're nearly on the home stretch, guys. 2 blue, and 2 blue. Coming across the other side in the opposite direction. Back through those beads. Just turning my ring in my hands as I'm going, just to make it comfortable to work with. Remember, I always say, you're the boss of the beads, not the beads the boss of you. Again, turning, holding my beads, giving it a wiggle. Back through. The beads. Now it's just a case of weaving through and tying off. So I'm just going to go up and down. If I can see the beads. There we are. Just going to do a little knot on the side, so I'm just going to pick up the thread that's in between the beads on the edge, put it down to a little loop, popping my needle through. That will cause a knot to form, and then I'm just going to feed through the next row of beads and feed through the next set of beads, and I think I'm going to call it done. I'll just go through once more because I've got the thread, so I may as well use it up. Just turning my ring and my fingers as I work, just makes life easier for yourself. One last time and we'll call it a day. There we are. Woohoo! Got off nice and tight. And there we have our last ring. It fits on there, or it might actually fit that finger. Let's just have a look. This one's a bit tight. Might fit that one. Oh, it does. Oh, get me. Thinking it was going to fit my little finger, and it's actually fit my ring finger. So there we are then, guys. I sincerely hope that you've enjoyed this little Jubilee episode. All these rings we've been making. So we've made all these rings, one of each style. Which is your favourite? I do quite like this. I mean, I like the banding as well, but I do quite like this. And well, I like them all, and I love this one as well, where it's across the top like a bar. I do like that. But I also do like this as well, where they're on the turn. I really do like that as well. Oh my word. Let me just put these away so we don't get in the way of everything, and then we can bring everything that we've made, can't we? And oh, I've just gone and flung some off to far distant shores. They'll be on the floor. The Hoover will pick them up. It's a shame, isn't it? Especially with them being delicates, but never mind. I aren't scratching around on that floor, and I'll never get back up if I get down there. And then my blues, and then we'll have a look at everything that we've made. Shall we? Are you pleased with yourself? The last ring is probably the longest project of all the Jubilee jewellery that we've done. This last ring is probably the longest one, that takes the longest time, but time soon passes when you're sitting beading and enjoying yourself. So let's have a look then. So we've done these rings. Let's put one of each out. Our nice square stitch one, our right angle weave ones that's just been modified by adding the side beads. We've got the seed bead necklace. Let's widen you out a little bit, you might be a bit close. There you are. Our seed bead necklace. Our chain necklace with our danglies on. A pair of earrings. And of course the bracelets that I've been wearing. And they're really light and really comfortable, you don't even know that you've got them on. So there we are then. Please let me know in the comments below what you go on to make, if you go on to make anything, and what was your favourite bit in the square stitch. Did you like the traditional way or the Jane's way? And I adore these earrings, and again they don't have to be red, white and blue. You can do them in the purples to match. Oh, they'd look nice, wouldn't they? And a dangly earring. They'd look really nice together. You could have one purple and two of them. One higher up, one in the middle and one lower down. Quite like that. Ooh, ideas, ideas, ideas. They just keep on flowing when you start playing, don't they? So I really appreciate your time spent with me, everyone. I sincerely hope that you found the 3 videos useful. They don't have to be for Jubilee, they can be for any time, and they're super quick makes. The ring takes a little bit longer, but everything else is super quick. So thank you very much for spending the time with me that you have. If you're celebrating the Queen's Jubilee, and why wouldn't you be? 70 years! I just think she's amazing for her age. She's 94 or 96? I think she's 90. Don't make her older than what she is, Jane. Let's say she's 94. And she's amazing. I think she's lovely. I like her. Not everybody appreciates the Queen, but I do. So there we are. And that's all that matters, is what you think. Correct. So there we are then. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see those thumbs. Thumbs, 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 thumbs. Consider subscribing to me if you haven't already. I'd love to have you along on my mad journey through beadwork. So, and it's really good therapy as well. It's really good for you. Yes, I do. Oh, I've just had an idea. Now, sorry, I was going to say goodbye, but I'm just looking at this, and that would make a gorgeous... This is my cocktail ring. I will put the link in the description bar underneath the video, just in case you haven't seen it. But wouldn't that be amazing in these colours? That would be amazing in the Jubilee colours, and you could wear it anytime. If you want to do it in the traditional red, white and blue, then you could, but I'm just looking at these and thinking, wow, that would look really cool in them colours, and it wouldn't be just for the Jubilee. Sorry, I digressed, I know. So I will put the link to this video in the description bar if you're interested in making it, in case you haven't seen it yet. So on that note then, I've taken up enough of your time. Go and have a wonderful rest of the day or night, wherever part of the day that you're in. So I will see you some more. Take care. I'm very happy beading. Much love. Some